I used to think that all the politicians in DC were just a bunch of idiots that convinced us to elect them into office so they can be the ones that become millionaires and billionaires.
Cha-ching, cha-ching.
But now I understand that politics is simply just a really bad TV spinoff of a high school drama. And look no further than the past 2 weeks for news to see this playing out. You got Lauren Boebert over here hanging out and being the fancy girl in the gymnasium, feeling up with her boyfriend. You got Bowman pulling the fire alarm because the dude didn't know how to open the door.
Why would you think a fire alarm would get you out of the door?
Listen, I tried the door. It says it's emergency exit. You push on it, it would open. I tried that. It didn't work. And I tried the alarm to jar the door. I've done that in other places, and it worked. It just didn't work this time.
Uh-oh, retard alert.
And then you got Fetterman dressing like, well, he just woke up 5 minutes before school, managed to get on the bus, and got his butt into class before the teacher called attendance. It's honestly embarrassing that these are the people that we elected to represent us and to make sure that our freedoms, or lack thereof, stick around for our future kids and the next generation. I feel like, though, I have a very interesting insight on all of this, as my own father got to be on that special jet, and he told my brother and I from a very young age that every 4 years, they are simply passing off the keys to their fancy big jets and their nice big oval offices over to the next guy, and maybe they'll switch back and forth every 4 years if you're lucky enough. Personally, I think it's more like a public school lunch table. Everyone's fighting to get to sit with the popular kids and spreading around gossip and rumors if they don't get their way.
Because that vest was disgusting. You can't sit with us!
These people go into it making, a bartender's wage, and then somehow walk out on the other end being worth tens of hundreds of millions of dollars on paychecks that mathematically, even if you did very smartly invest them, you could not make the fortunes that you did. Okay, listen, I honestly could care less about all of these things. I personally think that they are all simply red herrings, but as my mother and my producer constantly remind me, I know that we have to treat viewers like they're stupid, but I don't like treating people like they're stupid. To some degree, I want to assume that people have some kind of common sense.
It's gone, Savannah.
I love you, but it's because you're so young. Live a little longer, you'll realize.
No, Barry, I've already lost a lot of my hope and childlike wonder. I am holding on to. But as my mother and my producer constantly remind me, our society is becoming more degenerate and uneducated and lacking the common sense that we so greatly need every single day. Personally, I would like to assume that we still have just a minuscule ounce of decency and knowledge left to us. But apparently, not only is our society going into decline, but the people leading us are also idiots as well. You were a principal of a school. You thought the fire alarm opened the door? Yeah. You didn't know that the C in an email meant classified? Are you dumb? Okay, I retract every statement I said about them being idiots. Maybe they are, in fact, the evil geniuses, and they are heavily relying on the assumption that we are, in fact, the stupid idiots that are living in this Matrix TV show because we have just completely been fed every ounce of propaganda that they ever wanted to feed us in order to distract us from what is really going on. And we've been seeing that play out so predominantly. An example of this would be the fact that, wasn't it New York that said, "Give me your immigrants, illegal or not. We will take them all. We will give them homes." And then, these past 3 weeks, everyone's been complaining and rioting and throwing temper tantrums. And even the governor herself, Kathy, was like, y'all, we have just too many right now. We can't handle this. Texas, please stop sending us busloads in the middle of the night. Well, ha! You asked for it. You wanted it. You got it. Suffer the consequences of your own actions. And then, on the same hand, these administrations have the audacity to tell us We didn't mandate vaccines for you guys. You did that out of your own free will. Anything that comes as a result is the consequences of your own actions. Yes, y'all did. You forced everything down our throats from 2020 to present day. And you guys are really going to sit there and try to rewrite history like we're too dumb to realize what is literally going on right before our noses? Y'all instead are going to pass legislation like the Shorts bill because y'all can't figure out the dress code for the freaking White House, government, Senate, and everything else in DC. But you know what? I'm not just going to sit here and just diss on all of them 24/7. There's actually one dude who's attempting to try to actually do something helpful. And that would be Matt Gaetz trying to pass a bill that would force everybody else, when they're writing their bills and having to deal with, our tax dollars, that you can't just put 15 billion things in one paper, have it be 4,000 pages long, and then say this BS to us that we have to pass it in order to read what's inside.
But we have to pass the bill so that you can find out what is in it away from the fog of the controversy.
One bill, one subject, one thing. You would think that this would be common sense, but apparently common sense ain't so common when it comes to government and politics. And no, it's not just the Democrats actively working against him. It's Republicans and conservatives too. It's a bunch of backstabbing rhinos who apparently forgot that when they were sworn into office, they made an oath to uphold the Constitution, not uphold their checkbooks, and they're helping each other out. Oh, I'll pass your bill if you put this in mine. Oh, I'll do this if you put this in yours, because Lord knows that's the only way anything ever gets done in DC on Capitol Hill. This is never what America was supposed to be. I know for a fact that if Francis Scott Key, Sybil Ludington, George Washington, or Thomas Jefferson could see what the America that they fought for has become, they would be turning over in their graves. America was never supposed to be this corporation, this exchange of bribes and dirty money and dark corners and underneath tables. It was supposed to be a place where people had the liberty and the freedom to simply do what they wanted to without the infringement of government or other parties trying to mandate or tell them how to do it, or even not to do it at all. America was supposed to be a place where if you wanted to go worship God or another religion or a potato or Jesus or whatever, go ahead, do that. Don't hurt anybody else, but you have the freedom to do that. You want to start a business or a corporation and have the American dream? We are going to put the least amount of red tape on it as possible. Please help our nation and our economy to grow. You want to be left alone and not be bothered by government officials, red tape, taxes, and social media? You got it, you do you, boo. But instead, we have become this belligerent, idiotic country where apparently common sense isn't so common. Morals and right and wrong have just completely flown out the windows, and being corrupt both morally and financially is considered the new normal, especially if you work on a little place called Capitol Hill. Another thing that made America unique and different and appeal to a lot of people who just have a dream is that we were a country that was of the people, by the people, and for the people. We attempted, at least, to design a system where it worked for us instead of mandating things down like we see in so many other examples throughout history and throughout the entire world. The difference is that at some point along the way, we lost the directions. We lost the map. We sort of went off the track. Like the Titanic, we have struck that iceberg and we are actively taking on water. And like the band on the Titanic, we're just blissfully unaware, or we just simply don't want to acknowledge what is going around us.
This is fine. I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently.
Now in 2023, you can simply be punished for asking questions. Why? Who? What? Where? When? And how? Since when did we become a country where wondering, I wonder who's making money off of this, or this is oddly suspicious that this just coincidentally happened? You can now get in trouble for that. That's not the America that we were designed to be, and that's not the America that I thought that I was going to get to grow up in. And that certainly isn't the one that I would like to leave for my kids and future generations beyond us. I don't think that I would go as far as saying that America has fallen, but we definitely are falling, aka we have struck that iceberg and we are going down. Personally, I would rather not go down with the ship. I would like to maybe patch up that hole before it goes beyond repair. As history has proven, every 250 years of civilization is due to either fall or be conquered. America itself was truly an experiment that right now in 2023 we can either see succeed and blossom into something even better that we can have imagined, or we could see it absolutely crumble and fail like I think a lot of people would like to watch. As America goes, we are at a pivotal moment where we could either go the route of the monarch, of the dictatorship, of the superior process of them telling us what to do, and we are just these subservient beings that simply have to cater to their every whim and will. Or, as America was originally designed to be, this concept of we actually do have the ability to decide for ourselves what in fact we want to do with our own lives, and we don't need to be told how and where and when to do it. There's a line in the Declaration of Independence that I think everyone needs to be reminded of, and that is this: but when a long train of abuses and usurpations pursuing invariably the same object evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future securities. America, we have officially gotten to the point of where we could have a civil war or a revolutionary war or simply whatever you would like to call it. But the point is, they need us. I think we have proven through 2020 and the government shutdown that we can survive very well without everybody in DC. But the second that we stop playing their little game and we stop bending to the rules that they make up as they go along with, their board game crumbles apart. And I think that is what our founding fathers were trying to get across to us. That the second that we stop blindly following them is the second that we truly understand the concept of freedom and of liberty. Because a caged bird will always think that freedom is a crime. And you never will know what possibly could be better without a little bit of suffering and a little bit of sacrifice. And quite frankly, the bloodshed of good, brave men who are willing to fight for it. Okay, I'm not calling for a full-on, big, grand-scale war, but I am saying, with the trajectory that we are going right now, and if we do not decide to change course imminently, right now, pronto, historically, just saying that it is the path that we're going down, and that end up might be inevitable if we don't get our heads on straight. I don't want to see that happen. Who does? But I'm also someone who has common sense, and I know my history, and I also know that history doesn't repeat itself, but the human condition does. And the human condition is a little bit stupid if you look at our track record. So, fair warning, be warned. But also at the same time, it is out there. It's a possibility. But I think we should personally, as a society, do everything in our power to stop that from happening and try to find a peaceful way to get to the end. My personal opinion on all of this is, after what Phil Robertson from Duck Dynasty actually says, he tells us that America is going to fall. It's inevitable. And that is what the Bible tells us that's going to happen too. The world is going to be a dark place. There really is no coming back from any of that. But all that we can do as Christians and as believers is to continue to love on our fellow man and to spread the word of Jesus Christ and to love on our families while we can, because no tomorrow is ever guaranteed. And the best advice that I could give to anybody would be to live each day like you're dying. Have no regrets. Never let the sun go down on your anger. Spend each day doing what you love. And if you can't do what you love every day, at least do it with a joyful and positive attitude, because the world is dark enough without us adding on all of our mental loads and mental traumas and just our own darkness and demons into that. Live with your family, love on each other, and let's do our best to uplift our fellow man, because we can never rely on our government to do it for us, because at the end of the day, the only one that's ever going to be able to pull us out of our muck and our mire is Jesus Christ. But I sure as heck would like to help my fellow man to go alongside and do it with them as well.